All right, racism. I'm I'm not alone in this. One of the people who's somewhat fed up with hearing about it, and it's not because I'm racist. I'm not. Not in the way that people say, "Oh, you're racist, you're against." No. That's not how I am racist, perhaps one could say, in the same sense that all humans are racist intrinsically. It is a part of our nature. To describe what I mean, basically, I'm going to use something other than race to describe what I mean, because if I just get into if you're this race and if you're that race, people are just going to tear that apart. I don't really want to concern myself with that. The point I'm making is regardless of what race you are, if you are raised around a certain race or races and you are not accustomed to being around other races, then those other races become strangers automatically in a way that exceeds the strangeness of any person of a race you're familiar with. The example I'll use is if you are a midget, small person, whatever. I don't know the proper terminology for that. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone, but yeah, if you're small, like a person who's smaller than a normal person, um, you're obviously going to be, viewing yourself much differently than someone who is of a average size. So let's say that you grew up in some kind of a commune or an area somehow that's cut off from people who are not small people or little people or whatever. Let's say that the only kind of people you grew up around predominantly were little people, and there, if any other people, they were very few and far between, and it just wasn't really as significant as the saturation of little people around you. So, in this scenario, let's say that a person of your race, even, it doesn't matter what race you are, you could be black, you could be Asian, it doesn't, let's just say any, whatever race you are, your race, someone of that race comes, and everyone in your town is of that race as well. So it's not race that is making you specifically say, ooh, that person is different. I feel suspicious of that person. I feel perhaps endangered or perhaps somehow like I'm not sure what to feel. I don't that person that person slightly just their presence stresses me out a little bit and I'm not sure how to feel. It's that sensation of like, oh, uh-oh, what's this? Something new, someone new that I'm not familiar with. That's natural. That's what happens when you are around a certain type of person long enough that someone else shows up and it just kind of throws you into somewhere you don't know how to react because you don't know how that person thinks. You don't know how that person acts. Yeah, they might think and act exactly like you. You don't know that though because they're so obviously visually different than you that your instinctive reaction is to feel cautious. Now, I'm not advocating racism in the sense that, oh, we're going to lynch this guy because he's not our whatever. No. Not saying that that's a good thing or it should happen. What I am saying is specifically that some amount of racism will always exist. There are certain things, like the whole classic, oh, I'm a white person and I'm driving through a neighborhood where everybody's of a different color than me. I better roll up my windows, or I better lock my car door, or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if you were of a different color than white, let's say Asian, black, whatever, you're rolling through a white neighborhood where everybody's white and you're just not used to that because everybody where you come from is not white, or almost everybody, then yeah, you would also feel cautious and like a little bit freaked out. You'd be like, oh, it's all these people who look so different than what I'm used to seeing. That's natural. You can't just be like, oh, well, that's wrong to do. I can't feel that way. I better feel good that there's some weird thing, person that's, there's someone that I've never seen, something that I'm not used to seeing, or whatever. You can't turn that off. And I'm sick of people acting like all versions of reacting to someone's race are racist. They're not. It's natural and it will always exist. No matter how much you say, let's stop being racist, it will just always be that it is uncomfortable to be around people you're not used to being around. That's simply the point I'm making. Beyond that, yeah, racism itself, specifically saying, because you're this race, I do this thing to you, that gets pretty sketchy and bad and wrong. You don't really want to do that. So obviously, that, the real bad version of racism, which is being an asshole and using race as an excuse, is just being an asshole and using race as an excuse. I don't technically even view it as being racist in the larger term. I just view it as, if you're an asshole, then you're going to try and find reasons to be an asshole. Yeah, racism is one of them. So I don't approve of that, obviously. Just wanted to make sure that people didn't think I actually am racist or think that people should be persecuted or anything. Sorry for rambling. It's rambling, though. So, whatever.